Welcome back to yet another episode of Karishma Connect. On this episode, I have got Raghuveer, founder of Aurita Bikes, which is an energy efficient range of bikes that this young engineer has launched straight out of college and managed to deliver a great impact that he tells me more about. He also tells me about how he gathered funding, his startup journey, what's in it for young entrepreneurs, what's everything about Aurita Bikes that you need to know, and how he is pioneering a more sustainable alternative to mobility in India and beyond. So go check it out. Until the next one, stay tuned. I'll be back with yet another episode on Thursday. Until then, tata. Thank you so much, Raghuveer, for joining me on this podcast. It's a pleasure to have you, and I can't wait to know more about Aurita. It's a really unique concept, and looking forward to getting into it more in detail with you. My first question on the podcast is always tell me about your journey. What's been the journey so far? What's special about it? And tell me about Aurita, of course.
Yeah, so I basically an engineer, mechanical engineer,
Mm,
2017 graduated.
mm,
So how it all started was being an engineer. I mean, and also that from mechanical automobile is one of the passion.
mm,
So well, and I was studying somewhere in the year 2015. We were building, student formula vehicles where we have to design a complete vehicle, four wheeler on our own, and then basically have to take it for an endurance test nationwide. So we have gone through the process of designing, building vehicles, and doing an endurance test, and then building more vehicles. So we have built a two-wheeler EV form factor also. So
mm,
with all these extracurricular activities, we got I personally got hooked on to building vehicles
mm,
for an actual problem than just for an endurance and engineering understand.
mm,
So during that time, it's also very natural that I mean the whole EV as a system changeover was coming in automotive.
mm.
Tesla by that time was also very famous. I first got introduced to Elon Musk, Tesla, and that is why I mean formally my company name is Elon Motors Engineering Private Limited,
Oh.
which only people get to know if they read our about section in website,
Huh.
or else no one knows about it. So that is how we started. So even today, formally my company name is Elon Motors Engineering. So Elon Musk has been a very big inspiration.
Okay.
And myself, I kind of understood there is some set of entrepreneur angle has always been from childhood. So it was very natural for me that after engineering, I kind of not able to uh, find myself happy trying to pursue a job. It has
Mm,
always been that an interest in let's
mm,
try something on our own building.
mm,
Traditionally, I don't come from business background. So
mm,
it's all out of passion. So since it started out of passion, it was still going after 5 years also, because every day what I just think about is okay, how better we can build vehicle next version, or what can we modify in the product,
mm,
what better we can do in the technology so that customer would be happy. So since it all started with an engineering passion, it was going really well. And why Orita is initially everyone used to think Elon Motors. Whenever I introduced, I'm working on Elon. It is a company called Elon Motors. It used to be like, is it related to Elon Musk somehow? So we realized that should not be the impression when someone speak with us, that
mm,
uh, it is only for internal team to know that okay, we're inspired by him, or only for me or my founding team. So then we realized what is that we stand for them. So we went on thinking and brainstorming. Then we realized we want to serve in mobility.
mm,
And mobility is always, for the past 200 years, we observed that we have been changing from steam to gasoline, and then gasoline to there are more energy efficient gasoline, ethanols, and then these days EVs. To further, it could be solar or something else. So the thought process was from generations is to get to energy efficiency.
mm, mm,
So whatever is better energy efficient, you naturally shift towards it.
mm,
So we realized Orida is a jellyfish breed.
mm.
It's a moon jellyfish. So what it does is it's the world's energy efficient animal.
Okay.
So
It's interesting.
that's how we came to know it want to go one step forward. Basically, if it swims once, it
Yeah.
can go 4 times forward. So it is 1:4 and even more. So in the entire animal kingdom, jellyfish is the energy efficient animal. So we realized let's club it up with engineering and mobility and see. whether we'll be able to build energy efficient form factors in mobility. So that's the whole concept.
But how did you even find that? What?
I
How did
mean,
you end up there?
we were exploring, continuously, because for us also we wanted to have a very strong north star, that what is the end point.
Mm,
And if it is like building a product and then selling, then the end point is very immediate, and
mm,
then you count how many products you will make. But if it is about something where it continuously problem solving, then only for engineering mindset of us or founding team, it looks challenging every day. That's where it boiled down to energy efficiency, and then we found this.
And then tell me something about the product itself, because the audience viewing or listening to this podcast would not have a background. Break it
Yeah,
down for me as simple as, say, a 5-year-old to understand what exactly is Aurita and what is the product itself.
yeah. So when Aurita today, we're into cargo electric cycles or multi-utility electric cycles, uh,
Mm,
which are focused towards your quick commerce. I mean, anything that is in and around 3 to 5 kilometer delivery
mm,
radius.
mm,
We
mm,
we are seeing a lot of groceries, food deliveries being delivered in and around 5 kilometers, and also, even though it is 5 kilometer radius, and amount of orders they deliver in a given day is almost 30, 40. So there's a huge amount of travel that happens in a day, 100, 150, but everything happens in 5 kilometers. What with Orita today is doing with cargo electric cycles or multi-utility electric cycles is solving energy efficiency in that 5 kilometers. So we are
mm.
the cheapest form factor if anyone wants to do these kind of applications.
And how do you
So
make that happen? How do you make it energy
uh, So
efficient?
what we have done was, traditionally cycles have been always the most economical form factor, and
Mm, mm,
electric cycles have been picking up for the period of time. So what we have done differently was, cycles can't be ridden highly long distances because of whatever geometry issues, riding postures they have. The kind of life expected out of cycle,
mm,
if it is intensely. At the same time, your scooters, mopeds, which are highly comfortable. You see people riding it longer distances. The expected life of the scooter or moped is pretty long. So we
mm,
kind of try to bring that nature DNA with cycle,
mm,
and then made these multi-utility cargo electric cycles. So all our cycles are more like a scooter in terms of riding comfort.
mm,
You can ride it longer distance. Plus the wheel size, everything was designed according to the application. So we use a 20-inch wheel. Traditional cycles come with larger wheels, 26, 27, even 29.
mm,
Our tires are slightly thicker than a cycle, because when you're doing carrying load, we wanted to have better traction, better stability.
mm,
So the whole geometry is upright. It is not like in mountain biking,
mm,
because we are solving something which is regular. So
mm,
everything that a regular cycle used to have, we started to define it from a user perspective of riding posture. What is the uh, minimum rider height that would prefer for India? So our cycles can be ridden by people as short as 4 feet 11 inch to as tall as 6 feet 2 inch. There is a certain level of adjustability in the bike. The seat, everything could be adjusted, and it's very low, very step through, because we also address another audience of family bike, which
mm.
is replacing scooters in your everyday commutes.
Yeah.
So there again, lot of genders difference. The male and female should be able to use it very
Mm,
easily. Kids could also use it. There's an enough amount of space to carry a couple of your kids on the bike.
mm,
And where if you want to make cycle every day, then probably it should have an access to carry something when you purchase. Could be as small as a milk packet to some grocery purchase. So there are a lot of uh, minute things which are missing in a cycle, why it is not becoming a everyday bike. So
mm,
traditionally cycle in India is nothing but it's a fitness cycle, or
mm.
it's a poor man cycle, or the other way.
Yeah.
Uh, so there are two different classes, but there was never a everyday bike where you confidently feel that, yeah, I can replace a scooter and use it in a 5-10 kilometer radius of my everyday application.
Mm,
So that is how we approached this product. So we have around four different models, each targeted to different audience. there is one the first entry model was just a simple cool bike for commuting.
Mm.
Then we have a family bike called Typhoon. You can
Mm.
carry your kids. It has a rear seat behind, and you can carry your groceries.
Mm.
Anyone in the family can ride. Your someone has aged above more than 60 plus can also ride. Then
Mm.
we have a proper cargo bike called as Trooper.
Mm.
So that is the one I was speaking about, last mile deliveries, quick commerce, 100 kilometers in a day you can travel.
Mm.
And then we have something for who wants to do longer rides like a touring.
Mm.
Like there's a video in YouTube where someone has took a bike from Mumbai to Pune, 170 kilometers all the way.
Wow.
He was able to do because the whole geometry, the riding posture was such a way that he felt comfortable riding it for longer distance.
Yeah. And that's the
So,
amount of research that you have put in as well, right? In the development stage as well. Were there some challenges that you faced during that time? Coming up with something from scratch, not many of us are able to, and then
yeah,
putting it together because this is not like a, it's not like a soft skill. You're putting together something that is a physical product from scratch.
yeah.
The challenges that were there.
Obviously, it's not easy, but at the same time, it's not very tough as long as you're focused or speaking with your end customer, trying
Mm.
to take their feedback. So it doesn't happen like we made it and immediately everyone accepted. So
Mm.
if the first version we built and what we are selling today, there are too many changes happened. Lot of times it has been rejected by the end customer that this will not work out. So we've been constantly trying to expose our earlier prototypes with customers in exhibitions, taking it out, just taking their feedback. The place we used to live, we used to just give it to our gods. The
Mm.
campus where the gods will come from villages nearby. We just used to give it to them. You write it every day from your home and see what is the feedback. So the product actually matured a lot whenever we interacted with customer. The challenges have been designing it inside the lab and testing all of that is fine. But EV as a technology today is very, very, at least 3, 4 years back was very nascent. Even
Mm.
today also it's not highly matured. Whatever we are seeing is there is a lot of buzz, but as a technology is still pretty early stage. So getting the supply chain right and then getting the product produced uh, at the same quality every time and then getting it to the end customer. So all of this was a very big challenge because supply chain in EV is really tough to build.
Yeah.
You might be annoying, but hardly anything used to get made in our subcontinent or India earlier. Today
Mm.
there are a lot of companies who are building components here. So supply chain has been a big challenge. But when in the terms of research, obviously when we go and communicate with customer with something, if I go and tell I'm building another scooter, they'll be more than happy to understand. If I'm building another cycle, they'll be more than happy to understand. If I tell that I want you to use cycle as your scooter, then they would like a lot of people may not understand it. So we have to give them a first-hand experience that this is how it might be,
Mm.
then will you be comfortable? So research was yeah little tough. We were very patient because it took us a lot of time. Almost 2.5 years we were just building prototypes only. One was never available commercially. Only people who were in the startup ecosystem are used to know about it, but general public are not even aware of that something like this available. It was a very patient path.
How long did it take you in total?
Uh, we started it in 2018 July as a private limited company.
Mm.
Mm, and then until 2019 ending sometime we were in early prototype stage only. I mean not early prototype, pre-production, that stage only. But since the COVID hit, after that we launched our product, and in the market from 2021 March we have been available. So it's almost 2 years, 2+ years in the market and almost 3 years in the back end.
Mm. And how did you manage that period, your prototype period? Was there some support? Was there some sort of
Yeah,
strategy or groups that you were
there
part
was a huge support from this startup ecosystem. So
of?
I come from uh, uh, I create, which is an international center for entrepreneurship and technology. It's an incubation center.
Okay.
Uh, it is bit of Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Mm.
It went in as long as in 2013, I guess they have started this, and that time CM is Narendra Modi ji started this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he became the PM, he kind of expressed the idea nationwide, the Startup India movement. So, but it started first in Ahmedabad, and it started from the very own incubation center where I was. So the whole kind of culture, the ecosystem where I was working in a 40-year campus was very much supportive. All the peer startups were like young entrepreneurs like us, graduated of college, wanted to build something on their own. And all of them were hardware startups.
Mm.
So my name itself was hard to build
Yeah.
hardware startups in India. So the kind of mentorship there used to be very supportive. We went like a crude engineers that we want to build a product, but we never understand what is a business model. Will you make revenue out of it? We want to be an entrepreneur, but kind of we really don't know what entrepreneur they look like, how they. So iCreate has been really good to us, and that is where we got into the whole startup ecosystem. And even today in the startup ecosystem, if you have any help, people are more than happy to help you at
Mm.
our stage. So,
Mm. Mm.
yeah, the whole movement of startup India, I think somewhere or the other helped us in nurturing us to become an entrepreneur.
And then tell me, how do you play on the price model? Because when you're saying it's energy efficient and when you're pitching to the everyday people, how do you manage the pricing side of it? What does that look like?
Yeah, so today rental level model is available at almost at 33,000,
Hmm.
which uh, first I would say still for some set of people it is affordable and some set it is still not affordable. So today we target mostly metro cities
Hmm.
like Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Delhi,
Hmm.
Ahmedabad, and Chennai and other regions because there if you compare using these kind of bikes versus other options they are available, it's obviously affordable for them.
Hmm.
And in the last mile delivery, there's no question about affordability because we have proven using our bikes for something like an Amazon kind of delivery. They were able to save 15% cost for every packet they deliver.
Wow.
There's a lot of savings, and also there is a lot of carbon emission savings along with it, which is been very important today for companies like last mile. Slowly, I mean, obviously, once we get scale and the technology also matures, we'll be able to get into tier 2, tier 3 with even economical models.
Hmm. Hmm. And tell me when because you said that you've been part of the startup ecosystem and you got to learn more about entrepreneurship beyond the product side of it and the engineering side of it. What were the few big learnings from that that you could share with the audience, the ones who haven't been part of a startup ecosystem?
Yeah, so the very important thing which they taught us was everything revolves around the customer or the user.
Mm,
So there's nothing that I dictate that this is how it has to be or someone else dictate who is not an user.
mm,
So it's not like manufacturer tells what to be made or the designer tells this has to be designed. It is a user who tells everything. So that's a very big eye opener,
mm,
I think, for many people.
mm.
Right? So the
Very true.
bottlenecks will come every day.
Yeah.
Every day there will be a bottleneck. But if you always try to solve it from a user perspective, that will it be viable for my user? Then you'll get a solution.
Mm,
Will my user be happy to have this feature? Will be having enough money to pay for this feature,
mm,
or
mm,
does he actually need it, or am I unnecessarily overburdening him with the features?
mm,
Is there a pain point? If there is no pain point, then why would someone would purchase? So
mm,
everything is around the user. There's nothing stronger than if the user tells I like this product and I am okay to pay this amount of money.
mm,
Then everything else falls out. You'll get people pumping in money. You'll get team who want to build the product.
mm.
You'll get everything around once the user has accepted your concept of the product.
Very true. And then tell me, how do you address the consumer block, which sometimes can come in the making, right? Because we are so used to our usual modes of transport and mobility. How do you address that and how do you help bridge the knowledge gap between in the society?
I mean, Indian customer, I would say, is really tough. For a person like me who is just
Right.
26, it would be even tough
Huh.
because the demographics. I come from South, I'm from Andhra, and I've been to Telangana, which is also another state today,
Yeah.
not the same state, and then been to Maharashtra and now been Gujarat, been to Delhi. So the demographics are really different. mindsets are very, very different. So it's very hard to get into the mindset of customer or the consumer behavior. Uh, but again, the only way to address is it like either be in the consumer shoes or just meet enough people that they'll give 100 suggestions and see whatever is the priority suggestion everyone is giving, and just follow it and see if it works out. So there are two ways: whether you'll decide what all not to do, or you decide what need to be done. So they're the only two ways you can get out of the consumer block. So one biggest suggestion which one of our mentor gave was, uh, it is very important to decide what not to do rather than what to do.
Yeah.
You'll have 100 options. I want to build rocket and everything, but if you can decide I want not, I don't want to do all these 10 things, that would be easiest way to start. So whenever there's a consumer block, also we'll follow the same thing.
And then what is the future? Because you're somebody who's facilitating mobility and its future. You are influencing it with Aurita. So tell me what, according to you, is the future of energy efficient mobility products?
So one thing we have noticed probably it is what happening in the West or what eventually will happen here. Or there are parts like Africa which are even slightly slower than us. So what would happen in mobility would be, uh, you will be seeing a lot of new form factors. There won't be, there's a car, then there is a motorbike, then there is a scooter. You'll be seeing a lot of new form factors coming in. You'll be seeing purpose built vehicles coming in. For every purpose, there'll be one vehicle. There, and then every vehicle would be really different to the other in terms of build for, and that way, because what happening was the amount of audience for each use case is getting increased.
Yeah.
Previously, scooter, and probably there are 10 different use cases you use scooter. There are 10 different use cases you use motorbike. But now, for every use case, there are a huge amount of people. If I speak in a different way, there are enough amount of audience who have been using quick commerce. There is enough amount of audience who are using e-commerce same day deliveries. There are same sub-day deliveries coming in terms of logistic perspective. So the delivery time is always going to get reduced, which requires always a new form of mobility which will come and deliver.
Very
In
true.
the same time, for commute, the expectations are also changing. The mobility going ahead would be completely different than what it used to be in the last 100 years.
And what's
That
next
is for
for
sure.
Rita then?
Sorry?
What's next for Rita then? What's next for you?
Aurita, yeah, like we are trying our best to be one of those people who will serve specific needs. We don't want to be regular need fulfilling company because there is scale at the same time there is enough competition also. So it all matters then what is our strength and what can we build out of it which is valuable for us as well as a consumer. So Aurita would be going ahead. We are bringing slightly faster vehicles in terms of speed, like a moped form factor again built for specific use cases. We're also building some special three wheelers which are not regular but some industrial applications. We got associated with Mahindra Logistics for the last 1.5 year, where we have built some vehicles for them for intra warehouse. These are called as material handling equipments. They carry half a ton, 1 ton payload carrying equipment. So what at Dorita we are seeing is probably we'll be focusing more on last mile as a ecosystem, and then building vehicles for each last mile use case. And then we'll see if customer accepts or we want to be one of the primary people who would customer would take a bet on. So that is what we're looking at.
And then my last question to you, Raghuveer, is that, there are many young minds there who have a marvelous idea in their head and they are still in their pilot mode or they are yet to get there. What's your advice for them? Where should they begin? What should they keep in mind?
Yeah, very interesting question because young minds, if it will be very hard to focus when you're really young. So when I'm in 22, when I started this, toughest thing for me was to stay focused.
Yeah.
There's so many distractions, even in your own job role also. You want
Yeah.
to do many things in the same day, which
Yes.
you realize eventually are not possible. Everything can't be done at a time.
Yeah.
So it is tough to do, but still the suggestion is stay focused as long as possible. I know it is very tough to stay focused when you're very young. Second, getting structure to your thoughts would save a lot of time.
Mm.
So people these days are very happy using everything in Excel spreadsheets.
Mm.
But if you can write it on Notepad, probably that will eliminate a lot of your mistakes.
Yeah.
So
So
that is what I started doing after a few years. That whenever I get, I'll just write it on Notepad. Try to question everything. Try to get a structure. The moment you get a structure, uh, a lot of things would be eliminated in the planning itself.
yeah.
And there are enough amount of people who will be helping you
Mm.
purely for the sake of their joy.
Mm.
Everything in the world is not commercial. So be open and just explore. If I mean, after my engineering, if I would have thought, let's do something like a regular job, and probably I would not never entered it. And it was never planned that I would reach here. So nothing would be planned. You just have to go forward. And I've seen enough people supporting me just for the pure of joy. Probably they might have not tried something like this. They feel success in our happiness. There are enough amount of people. Just go and express. If possible, be focused.
That's such a wonderful note in today's times where we often think that everyone coming to us is for a particular reason. It is such a wonderful note. On that really beautiful note, thank you so much, Raghuveer, for joining me. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to sharing this one.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers.